There are definitely different ways to approach this problem, but the approach that we're going to take will be to begin by treating it as if it were a solid, find the surface area of the solid, and then find the surface area of what basically is a solid inside, even though we can't see it, and we'll find that surface area and subtract. Let's take a look at that first step. So if I had the cube without all the business cut out in the middle, I would need 6 times 1 times 1, and that would give me the surface area of the entire exterior. And then, like I said, if we treat this on the inside here like another cube, and we just want to cut out the surface area of that one cube, that cube has a measure of 6. There are 6 faces, and each of the faces has a measure of a half times a half. So if I multiply all that together and I subtract it, I'm on my way to being able to find the surface area of the shape as it exists. So basically I'd have 4 1/2 meters squared for our sort of intermediary surface area. But what I haven't dealt with yet is the fact that I have all of these sides here. So if you think about if you were to put your hand into the inside of this shape, you would be touching the sides of that opening as you went through. You could basically treat each of them as a rectangle, and that rectangle would be 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, and it has a depth, right? This depth here of 1/4, and we actually would then have 6 of these because you'd have one cut in each side of the prism itself. Let's take a look at that computation. So I have 6, so that's for cutting through the 6 faces of the original shape, and when I add together all of those 1/2s going around, so like 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, that gives me 2, and then we'll be multiplying that by 1/4. So that tells me that what I need to add back into my total here is an additional 3 meters squared. Let's look at that put all together so that we can see what the surface area is of the entire shape. So we'll take the surface area of the first piece where we found the surface area as if it were solid and then subtracted the interior, and then we'll add in the sort of edges of the opening that we just came up with, and this will give us a total of 7.5 meters squared for the surface area of the shape.